All right, everyone. Hello, welcome back. Got a couple stuff to talk about. Nothing too crazy today. Bit of a slow day in terms of stock market. We just had a bit of a slowdown from the rally that we had in the previous couple of days. We did see the decoupling, by the way, was the word that I was trying to remember yesterday. We saw some decoupling from the movement of Bitcoin and crypto in general versus the stock market. Now, though, we do have a lot of inflows coming in from institutional investors back at it again. It just goes to show the FOMO kicks in really, really fast. So that's great to see, and Bitcoin's currently on its way up. Current price 93,900, almost 94,000. I don't think we're going to, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to hit that like right now. It looks like we're about to. We're literally $30 off, $20. Whatever, we'll get there when we get there. Most important resistance still remains at 95,000, let's just call it 94,900 to be exact, right? So that's the most important level we got to be paying attention to. Oh my gosh, we're about to hit 94,000, so close. Lowest point we reached was 91,600, further reinforcing the fact that this has now become a solid support level. 91,400 is what it's showing in terms of pivot levels, right? Uptrend still looking super strong. I feel like I should be drawing a quick one right over here, thanks to the uptrend that we have in the 4-hour chart. You'll notice now that I am using the 4-hour chart. I think it is my favorite, honestly. I'm starting to use my favorites a lot more now, and I've actually combined the two into making a potential strategy that I might use. I could explain more about it in just a minute, but I really love Super Trend. I really love RSI. I like price action, and I love the 4-hour time frame. I'm getting kind of sick and tired of constant quick entries in 1-hour chart, 5-minute chart, 1-minute chart. Like it gets too crazy, right? 1-hour chart is sometimes not that great at determining trends, especially in choppy markets. You never know exactly where the price is going to go. In the 4-hour chart, you can see everything more clearly. You can draw your trend lines. Super trend is almost always right. And in terms of entries and exits, I'm just seeing that for momentum's sake, RSI looks really good, especially in bull markets, right? Where we are currently. I did backtest it, and I tried a strategy with using the RSI on the 4-hour chart. Anytime that price is oversold, every 4-hour candle, you buy a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, right? Once it starts going up again, do nothing. As long as it doesn't become oversold again, you don't buy. Which, as we can see just in this small instance, this small example of this small amount of time, we saw price rise over here. And I made the logic set to sell the highest purchased price, the position, right, to be sold over here first, and then sell the lower ones if we still are overbought. So if I bought something cheaper, that would be sold at an even higher price, and an even higher price if things continue to rise, of course, up until we are no longer overbought or until I run out of positions to sell, which is why I'm okay with drops, with drawdowns. That is the moment to accumulate. Maybe I'm not accumulating enough. I don't know that yet. I still have a lot of backtesting to do. Maybe I'm supposed to purchase heavier on a drop, but I've noticed that I could get liquidated. I am in the futures market, so I would be using something like, I don't know, I'm testing out different leverage types. So far, 3x leverage has worked out great for me. Less chance of a liquidation, less chance. When have you seen Bitcoin draw down 33%, lose a third of its price from an oversold area, right? That's not very likely to happen unless you are in a bear market, which happened, for instance, in 2022. I backtested since 2022, and my whole account got liquidated, just to show, right? I was testing it with 20,000, right? And risking 1,000 times 3x with the leverage. And yeah, I mean, in multiple instances throughout 2022, Bitcoin became more oversold than overbought, of course, because we are in a downtrend. So I added another indicator in there 200 simple moving average on the daily chart, which is widely used by many traders to determine the overall trend of a market. Of course, if we are under that, meaning we are in a bear market, wouldn't trade, wouldn't enter positions there because we might go lower. So that's the way to avoid that. From here on forward, though, like if I was backtesting from 2023 until today, the strategy works excellent because from 2023, which is where we bottomed at 16,000, Bitcoin's only been going up, of course. Even till this day, we're still heading higher. So it just made sense. It worked really good. It gave me a nice rate of return. So I'm happy with how it's developing. I just still need to refine it before I actually deploy it live. And I've got plenty of time, right? I kind of feel bad. I wish I tried this a lot sooner. But it's fine. We'll give it some time. Right now, like even if I was to set this live, my strategy would be doing absolutely nothing because first of all, there's no positions purchased to sell at overbought conditions. We do have to wait for market to drop, meaning likely breaking resistance to likely breaking this uptrend, breaking the super trend, flipping it bearish. And then we could see another one of these, right? Not specifically where this price is, but just momentum of the RSI. Oversold territory. That is the moment that we accumulate. And if like just scroll back a lot further, it makes sense. I don't know. Let me go from here blindly. Okay, this oversold. Look at that, right? So if you purchase over here like once or twice, even if you buy like over here, when is the next time that we are overbought? Oh, right over here. There you go. And okay, in downtrends, yeah, sure, it doesn't really work that well, but it would sell over here with not that much of a loss, right? As long as we don't get liquidated, which from here downward, let me give you an example from here. As long as this doesn't reach like 30% drop, which I don't think we did over here. 17% drop, you're not going to get liquidated. And your position, the most expensive one that you purchased, will exit here, right? But also, I mean, you're also purchasing again because here it's still oversold, right? You'd still make more purchases over here, over here, over here, just DCAing, right? Over here, what you're selling is the one that you bought over here, so you're immediately getting rid of that position, which would be close to zero, right? Maybe a little bit negative, it's fine, whatever, because of fees and all that. But from there, here another bit of DCA. Over here you could sell, right? If you purchase down here, which it told you to, you would sell over here a little bit, take some profits, sure. DCA a bit more, DCA a bit more. I'm looking at oversold conditions. And then look where we are right now, overbought conditions over here multiple times. You're selling everything that you bought down over here, all the way up here. That's profit, right? I mean, that's the way I'm seeing this. We're still in a bull market, so I feel like this could absolutely still work. Although adding a 200 simple moving average, I don't know if I have one drawn here. Probably not. Here's one. Why is it set in the hourly chart? Go to the daily chart. Exponential. I don't want exponential. Well, I don't have it then. Yeah, I don't have it. Sorry, this does have to be hours. My bad. I have one on Trading View. Let me go to, yeah, Bitcoin's fine. Daily chart. Ignore the super trend. I like the way it looks here better though. SMA. Okay, there we go. And pay attention to only the red line, because the green one and yellow one is 50 and 100 moving average. 200 moving average is this one right over here. And I was looking at these days, right? We were below this simple moving average, indicating that we could possibly be switching over to a bear market, which that kind of deal happened over here in 2022, right? January 2022, we literally started off under the 200 SMA. And if you entered at any oversold condition here in the 4-hour chart, so even a smaller time frame, you would be getting liquidated and liquidated and liquidated all the way to the bottom. When did we start rising again? January 2023. From there, it's been constantly up most cases. The only The only time I see where this strategy kind of fails is because of this like false, like, oh, we're in a downtrend, although we're back up in an uptrend. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to add something else to like filter this out a little better because we're technically not in a downtrend from there, right? I was thinking originally like going to the weekly chart and using a super trend here. This kind of works because it did measure the downtrend in 2022, but from May, it kind of delayed a little bit, right? The simple moving average figured out that there was a bear market in January of 22, right? Super trend figured it out in May 2022. But I mean, so far, it's been green this whole time, which I agree with, right? We are absolutely in an uptrend. It's telling me that we would switch to a downtrend, a bearish trend at 54,000. I don't know if that's actually good, though. Like, imagine bull run gets canceled, right? Worst case scenario. We drop a 41% till we reach here, meaning that a lot of, and this is not going to be an immediate drop, by the way. It's going to be like multiple oversold conditions that I'll be buying until I reach this level. Of course, a lot of those positions will be liquidated. Probably not exactly here, but I'd say like around here. Yeah, this looks perfect. A 30% drawdown from a low point, where if we break this uptrend, we'd be considered in a downtrend. I don't know. I'm going to need something a little quicker to determine that for me. So I have super trend set at 5 and 5. Or this is 10 and 5. That's a lie. Wait, 10 and 3 should be the one. 10-3 is one of them. Actually, 10-3 looks a lot better. Oh, 10-3 looks way better. Did I just figure this out live? I probably did. January 2022. That's actually perfect. Till January 2023. Oh, I think this is it. And look at exactly where that uptrend, I mean the green line of the super trend is on the weekly chart for 10-3. That looks a lot better. Comparing it to all-time high, if we break all-time high level, I agree with this personally. If we break 2024's all-time high, which was at 73,800, yeah, bull run is canceled for the rest of this year. I absolutely agree with that. You know what? I might actually incorporate this. This is great. I figured this out live. That's insane. Although it can miss some opportunities in a bit of a normal drawdown, like in this condition over here from May 21 till October 21, right? Yeah, I'll have to see. I'll backtest everything though. I'll double check how it works. I'll try with super trend 5-5. I'll try with super trend 10-3 in the weekly chart. Weekly chart seems to know where it's at. That's great. That's crazy. I never even noticed this. Okay. Well, yeah, that's the plan then for now. Beautiful. I went through a lot of an explanation there, didn't I? We got rejection at 94,000. That's unfortunate, but it further proves the point. Resistance works. This is an important zone as well, the red zone that I have drawn over here, because it's an area we have been consolidating earlier this year, right? Not consolidating, but like using as a support, right? Either support or resistance a couple times, right? We're currently seeing that right now. That's why we're slowed down over here. A bit of congestion till we figure out for sure. Will we continue breaking upward to 100K or else drawdown? I think a bit of a drawdown. Till the uptrend at least, right? A 5% drop, 6% almost. That's normal. Normal. It kind of deserved, honestly, because this rally, a little bit too fast, in my opinion. For what? Maybe just realization that tariffs have no effect on Bitcoin. Yeah, that's probably the reason. All right, cool. That's what we see for Bitcoin, 93,700. I also would have to, I'd have to put so much money in here as well. And just know that it's in there sleeping, doing nothing, right? Until we actually get oversold condition. Because obviously, in the 4-hour chart, you have to wait, of course, 4 hours for every candle to close. And man, that can get painfully slow. The last buying opportunity, picture this, was roughly April 6, April 7. That was the Black Monday, Cyber Monday, whatever you want to call it. Black Monday, I think it is. Fear that everything was going in recession, or we might get emergency rate cuts, blah, blah, blah. But no, none of that happened. But that was a great time to buy, though. Absolutely. Anyways. Where's I going with this? I don't even remember. I've lost my train of thought. Moving on to other coins. Solana is 152. Nice. Breaking upwards. Stop that. 154 was its highest point of today. Drawdown lowest point, we're looking at 144. I don't think we're going to break lower than that. So Solana's looking pretty safe with this and a really solid uptrend. A lot of these altcoins have developed their uptrend already. Also, that strategy, I don't know if it'll work better in any other asset. I've so far only tried it with Bitcoin because Bitcoin is strong. It's proven its strength and it's proven that it has not had a significant drawdown like the other altcoins have. Most altcoins have absolutely lost over 30% from their all-time high, right? I don't know. I mean, I'm not buying at all-time high levels either. I'm only buying at oversold conditions, which by then the price has already dropped, and we're far from our all-time high from there, expecting us to reverse upwards, continuing the bull market, right? Because we're technically still in a bull market. It's just that altcoins have suffered in general, thanks to Ethereum, really. Ethereum's been performing poorly. Solana was just getting bad reputation for all the scamming, all the meme coins, all that stuff. Yeah, and they leaded the rest with drops like that. But we've still got a lot of good news, a lot of good fundamentals, and very good reasons for most, if not all, these altcoins to reclaim their all-time highs once again, whether that was reached this year like Solana, or whether that was reached 3-4 years ago, like probably XRP, Cardano. Yeah, anyways. Ethereum 1,770, down 0.81%. It did not go back to its high level. I have a resistance noted at 1,833. We reached 1,834. Pretty decent. We're about 3% off from that. Do we really even have an uptrend? Yeah, we do, and it's a longer version of an uptrend, which I could appreciate for Ethereum. I don't want any false signals over here, so slow and steady wins the race, of course. Ooh, I don't know if we're gonna stay in here for a moment because we do need a breakout, a good breakout, so we could reach from wherever this is to 2,000, which is important. You're looking at a 9.5% increase from there. But a significant breakout would be required. One almost at the magnitude of the one that we just experienced to get here, right? We experienced a 13% pump over that from 1,500 to reach 1,700. I don't know about Ethereum. It did have too much of a drop. I will admit that. Where can it reach? Oh, we don't know. It seems impossible, right? Being priced at 1,700 to be expected for your price to now hit at least where you hit before, $4,000. I don't know. A lot of people don't think that's really possible. What are we looking at here? Absolutely over a 100% increase. Guarantee you that. Please let me measure. Yeah, 130%. What did it take to get down here? 57% almost. A little lower. We dropped 60% in general. So yeah, even if you did buy over here and used something like 3x leverage on Ethereum, for example, like not even at the highest point, like we'll just say over here, you still got it liquidated, guaranteed, right? So just going back to my strategy thing that I was explaining, back testing it on Ethereum, I'm expecting terrible results. Who knows, though? Maybe the filter of the super trend will determine that, hey, we're not going to be buying anything over here because we're dropping a lot with Ethereum. Maybe it'll filter it out. I hope so. I'll check it, though. I'll double check. Sui, it keeps on rising. That is insane. $3.41 was its highest, almost $3.42. Current price is $3.34. Man, that is insane. It's absolutely outperforming XRP right now. XRP is still stuck at 219. Wow. I mean, I called it. Did I put my money where my mouth is? No, I didn't. Kind of. I kind of did. Let's just say I kind of did. I'm still unprop. I have some positions in Sui, but not as much as I would have liked to have, especially me having a lot of my orders down over here from this time onward, which we unfortunately did not drop. So yeah, I did get liquidated here on one though. This drop hurt, but I tried to take advantage of it to recover, but it never dropped from here ever again. We're breaking the downtrend, literally, as we speak. Okay, well, okay, this one's gone. Bye-bye. This is way too steep of an increase. I feel like a correction will absolutely hurt. Who knows? What's tomorrow? Friday? No, tomorrow's Friday. I don't know. What if tomorrow's a red day, Saturday's a flat day, Sunday evening we continue rising? Making up scenarios in my head right now. You got to be prepared for both scenarios, of course. I mean, if we rise, so be it. That's fine. We're looking at 354 for our next resistance based off of Fibonacci retracement. Indeed. Otherwise, we'll have to bounce back down from here, readjusting this downtrend, meaning that we would still be under it. But longer term, I do see an uptrend absolutely formed over here, which might be the defining uptrend of the bull run that we will see for SUI for the rest of this year, 2025. We're expecting to see everything rise from here onward up to and including August. According to Empty Money supply charts, of course. That's where I'm basing that off of. That's cool, though. In order to flip back down to a bearish trend, we had to break this support, 254, of course. Coincides with super trend. Man, we are absolutely overbought for SUI. I do feel like a correction is imminent. It has to. Just, you know, technically speaking. XRP, on the other hand, has been doing absolutely nothing. Reach a high of 230, which I covered yesterday, and from there, it dropped to a low of 211. Current price is 219. Yeah. Yeah. A lot more is left to be expected from XRP. And that drop from overnight... Was this overnight? What time was this? 4 a.m.? Yeah, or during the early morning. It's pushing this uptrend, so I don't like that, but it's fine. 4-hour super trend still indicates it's bullish. So we can still continue to see some rise or some choppiness. Hopefully no lower than this resistance that we have, or support it would be from the pivots at 214. That would be devastating. But so far, SUI completely outperforming. Cardano not doing as great either. Today we did reach a nice high point of 74 cents. Was this today? Yeah, 12 p.m., sorry. And current price is 71. We're expecting this to reach at least 75 though, so still requires some room to run, which it's looking at over 6% to reach this resistance from our current level. Either that or 3% downwards till we reach our support that we have at 69 cents approximately. But uptrend is there. Most altcoins have already formed a new uptrend. Downtrends are broken. That's confirmed. Nice. We'll see how Cardano continues to perform. And also Litecoin, not a lot of movement either. SUI is just the one that's been moving like crazy. And deserved, to say the least. SUI has been doing great. Litecoin still $84.20. Reached a low point overnight at 80. That's an important support. Uptrend has been formed. To break that uptrend, of course, we would have to see price close below 76.70 approximately. $76.70. All right. In terms of resistance levels, we have one at 87 and the next one at 91. Still got some room to recover for Litecoin. Not much also going on with Litecoin. So, you know, we need some fundamentals going on there. So the coins that we have to review for now. This is unfortunate. Did we even reach 94? We did. 94,400 during this 4-hour chart. Okay, cool. But the rejection sucks. Bitcoin's dropping again to 93,694. These are tiny movements. Who really cares? It's nothing too major. I know Bitcoin will still continue rising in the long run, so that's all that really matters. So we got U.S. jobless claims today. Came in line with expectations. 222,000 was previously 216,000. There's more people that are jobless, but this was to be expected. Hopefully, those numbers will decrease as tariffs take their effect. Companies bring their stuff into the United States, creating more jobs. I watched a press conference from Caroline Leavitt, I think it was yesterday, where she mentioned, she listed a couple of companies that were now moving into the United States and bringing in lots more jobs for American people. So looking good for what's coming up next. And this would have been for the previous month, if I'm not mistaken. Jobless claims, yeah, for until April 19. Okay, there you go. And we also got this other durable goods orders month over month. Came in much higher than expectations. Previously at 0.9%, we were expecting 2.1%, but it actually increased to 9.2%, which is much higher. These are new orders for manufactured durable goods in the US. The tariff effect is working, right? It's the way I see it, at least. That's good. Good stuff. What's sketchy right now is, and probably why markets slowed down, was the whole fact of this narrative of US-China tariff situation will get better, will get resolved soon. China's been very cooperative. We might come to a conclusion soon. Scott Bessent says, actually, no, it could take 2 to 3 years. And then Chinese officials actually said, no, that's actually not true. We had no trade negotiations at all, refuting Trump's claims. So it's like, okay, what really is going on anymore? We have to wait for official... I mean, could we even trust official statements anymore if they're just lying? But anyways, the real war between US and China, of course, should be about Bitcoin. The United States has 198,000 Bitcoins. China has 190,000 Bitcoins. It's regulated in the US, not regulated in China. Well, it's restricted in China, right? Nobody's allowed to trade crypto Bitcoin. Nobody's allowed to mine it, right? These are all just seized assets from both. It's not like they purchased it, but the United States is planning to purchase it. China usually copies what the United States does. Governments will start adopting Bitcoin. We've seen it with El Salvador. We're seeing it with United Arab Emirates. We're seeing it with Pakistan. Maybe Argentina will get on it soon. USA is already getting in on it. It's going to be great. Not ready for the bull run. Federal Reserve withdraws crypto guidance for banks. This is pretty huge. Federal Reserve just rescinded its 2022 and 2023 guidance that required banks to notify or get approval before engaging in crypto or stablecoin activities. That just, I mean, it makes sense. That's what decentralization, that's what crypto is all about, right? So now banks, they don't have to tell the Fed, I guess. Yeah, we're going to buy crypto, we're going to buy Bitcoin, we're going to buy all these other assets, RWAs. Yeah, that's good. Let them invest in whatever they want to invest in. And before I share this, this is also relevant to that. Ondo Finance has been in talks with the Security Exchange Commission's Crypto Asset Working Group to explore compliant paths for issuing U.S. tokenized securities. That's Real World Asset Moon time starts now. I do want to see what else it says with Grok. Let's see. To create a regulatory framework for tokenizing U.S. securities, addressing legal hurdles like registration and compliance is detailed in a SEC memo from April 24 of this year. Tokenized securities are digital representation of traditional assets on a blockchain, a growing sector with real-world assets market cap at $38 billion, up 2.8% in the last 24 hours, according to CoinGecko data. Move aligns with broader industry trends, as seen with MyStock's partnership with Fidelity for brokerage and custody services, signaling a bridge between traditional finance and digital assets amidst rising real-world asset adoption. That's good overall, so congrats. I mentioned this yesterday. If Bitcoin reaches market cap of gold, Bitcoin will be worth $1 million, approximately. I did the math. I don't know if my math is right, but that's my projection, which could absolutely happen, right? Gold's still hitting all-time highs. Uncertainty is kind of come back in the markets because of the US-China thing. Like, oh, we don't know if they're actually reaching any deals. So gold went back on the rise today. Let me go check that chart, actually. A little bit on the rise, you see. So we dropped Wednesday, April 23. Today is 24th, and we started rising back up. So, yeah, we haven't reached our exact all-time high yet, which, wow, it actually hit 3,500. That is impressive. We know Bitcoin trails the price of gold. And because gold is at such high levels, why won't the United States just sell all their gold in Fort Knox? Won't cost any taxpayers any money. You'll be selling it at very all-time high levels, and you can buy Bitcoin. Well, I suggested that when Bitcoin was around 80,000, 70,000 maybe, right? Right? Probably I did. Jim Cramer says that there's absolutely no way Bitcoin is going above 1 million US dollars. I just don't see it happening, which means inverse Cramer always works. Bitcoin hitting 1 million confirmed. We don't know exactly when, though. I think it could take maybe a decade. ARK Investment, Kathy Wood, she says that their prediction for 2030, which is 5 years from now, is that Bitcoin will hit $2.4 million. I think that is a little too aggressive. I don't think we're going to hit that much that fast. 5 years for Bitcoin to hit $2.4 million. Is that a 24x? Yeah, that's... I don't think that's going to happen. That's too much. And she's usually a bad investor too, so wouldn't really trust that anyway. But it's still good to get an idea of, you know what, we probably will be at very high levels. I think maybe 500,000 in 5 years. I could be completely wrong and blown out of the water, but hey, I hope I'm wrong. I hope we're actually a lot higher. I wouldn't mind. CME Group expands its crypto derivatives with the launch of XRP futures. Bullish for XRP, although XRP has not moved much. I also heard that there was a bit of a data breach with XRP Ledger. That might be suppressing the price just a little bit. And obviously, like, I'm really upset with the performance. Just comparing it with SUI, right? XRP versus SUI, which is something that I've talked about. I just knew SUI would make some crazy move like this. It's just more volatile. This cycle, SUI will outperform XRP. In the long run, though, I mentioned XRP will probably be better for against SUI, right? For like very long term, though. PayPal partnering up with Coinbase to advance stablecoin payments. That's pretty good. Glad to see a lot of adoption going on with crypto. And here's a dig that Charles Hoskinson from Cardano made against Ethereum, saying that Ethereum may not survive the next 10 to 15 years, citing architectural flaws, governance issues, and value leakage from layer 2s. Don't know about the architectural flaws. They are trying to improve their core system, changing from EVM to RISC, something like that, RISCV. I covered that a couple days ago, I think. Cardano founder warned that without major changes, Ethereum could follow the path of tech giants like BlackBerry, for example. You guys remember BlackBerry, which it's a dead company now, right? It used to be giant back in the day, but then lost its fame to other companies in BlackBerry's case, like, of course, Apple and Samsung, two most dominant phones in the markets today. Now, Ethereum might follow that same path as what Cardano founder is warning. I don't know, maybe that just benefits him because, of course, Cardano is a competitor to Ethereum. And there are obviously much better options to Ethereum. Although we have seen Ethereum's scalability improve a little bit, transaction fees have been going down. Maybe that's due to not a lot of traffic, which that's bad for it, but who knows? We know it doesn't get as congested as Solana does, for example. That's one flaw from Solana, is that it does get congested once in a while. SUI is much faster, much cheaper as well. That's why I think SUI is where it's at. Cardano's fine, but I think I'd prefer SUI. SUI over XRP, SUI over Cardano, especially for this cycle. SUI is going to outperform those my humble opinion. But maybe they'll surprise. Who knows? USDT dominance. This is a different approach to looking at Bitcoin cycle tops, right? We've seen Bitcoin top over here in 2024. This is looking like March, I'm assuming, right? This is the difference between USDT versus the rest of the cryptocurrency market, right? USDT roughly makes up 5% of the crypto market, a stable coin. Because people will usually just hold on to that stable coin, right? It's the equivalent of $1, and they're usually just holding on to that or minting it to buy the dips with USDT. What do I do here to buy SUI, for example? I need USDT, USD Tether. So yeah, it just works in that sense. And you could tell that when stablecoin dominance drops, that means more is being purchased into actual cryptocurrency tokens, which we saw in right before January 2025, December, when Bitcoin was reaching all-time high levels. And then from there, we have dropped in price, Bitcoin I'm talking about, and USDT dominance has surged from there up to about 6%, meaning that instead of 5% being part of the 5% of the whole crypto market is in stablecoins, it's now 6%. It was 6%, but now that is coming back down is what this is talking about. And of course, meaning that less stablecoin, more cryptocurrency. Crypto will likely rise from that. Stablecoins can't rise in value. They're always valued at $1. So that is now moving into cryptocurrencies, which will start pumping the markets as well. It's just an indicator of we're coming back. Ultimately, that's nice. It's good to see. I should have just read this instead of trying to explain it off of my tiny little brain, but I'll read it anyway. USDT dominance just broke down, breaking down of this trend line. Every time this happens, Bitcoin makes a large leg up until USDT dominance again touches the parabolic trend line, which we have over here. Blue arrows indicate local Bitcoin price tops. Notice how far we have to go until the next Bitcoin top, based on how far the USDT dominance has to drop. Strap in, Bitcoin's heading up, Global M2 says so, and USDT dominance confirms it. I'm thinking of a math formula in my head right now as to... Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can try it live or if I can make a fool of myself live as well. That'll be great. So, market cap of USDT is $146 billion, right? $146 billion is in a stable coin right now. All right, let me math. So once this drops, it's looking like, okay, 4%, 4.5% we'll call this. No, what am I saying? 3.5% is what I mean to say, because 4.5 would be up here. I want 3.5% to be like over here. So in order for us to drop from 5% to 3.5%, oh, how would I do that math? I don't think I can. Okay, 146. Let me do the math this way. 146. I'll just use, I won't even type in all the zeros. I don't think I have to. If it's 5% currently, multiply that by 20 to get what 100% is, which is $2.9 trillion. The current market cap is 2.76 trillion. Yeah, that's pretty close. 2.9, 2.7, pretty close. Now, if we're expecting this to drop to 0. What did I say? 3%? 3.5%, 0.035. I'm typing this on my phone, by the way. That would mean we would see the market cap of USDT drop from 146 billion to 102 billion. Meaning that about... that's 40 billion, right? 43 billion almost, 44 billion could move into Bitcoin, right? Let me go to Bitcoin's market cap and calculate the current prices of Bitcoin. Not specifically Bitcoin though. It could go into any other coin, but I'm just gonna say best case scenario, all of that USDT moves into Bitcoin. Is this comparing? Hold on, what is this chart? USDT dominance. I'm assuming that okay, it's talking about Bitcoin though. I'm assuming it's working with Bitcoin. Let's just assume it does. Okay, back to this. $43 billion inflow. 000, that's 43 billion, yes. Now, current market cap is 1.86 trillion. 1860. That's million, billion, trillion. So that would mean Bitcoin's new market cap would be $1.9 trillion. It would increase by that much. And how much current circulating supply of Bitcoin there is right now? 19,850,000. That would mean Bitcoin's price would be, wow, 95,000? No, that's a lie. Well, that's its current price right now. I'm pretty sure I messed up my math. It's whatever. I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say, though. Like, all that money moving in, it would make sense for Bitcoin to rise significantly. Or maybe I misplaced a zero. No, I don't think I did. I just did my math wrong, or maybe it's not making any logical sense. Ignore what happened in the past 5 minutes. Moving on. Let's talk about Canada. There was a poll out here talking about Liberal Party versus Conservative Party. Who do you think is going to win in the federal election? We're seeing a lot of the polls in the media say that it's a devastating, looking like a big victory for the Liberal Party. They have like large percentages ahead of the Conservative Party. But when you take these polls to something like Twitter, you're going to see that the Conservative Party is significantly in the lead. It's literally the opposite, okay? 78% Conservative Party, 15% Liberal Party. And then what even is NDP Party or other? You just ignore the rest of those. So, wow. Take a look at Polymarket. It's literally the opposite right here. Green line is the Liberal Party with a 85% chance for Liberal Party to win and 15% chance for Conservative Party to win. That is just insane. I don't even know who's betting like this. I think this is an easy cash grab. It would be great, right? Like, pure Polyev wins, and you also make bank. That's pretty cool. I don't do these bettings, though. I don't think I ever will. But that's just crazy stuff. And we saw something similar to this with Trump Kamala or Trump Hillary Clinton, right? Especially when it comes to comparing polls from the media versus polls on something like Twitter. I feel like though Twitter might have a bit of a bias, it may be a little bit more right-wing in terms, like, politically speaking. So a lot more people that use Twitter as a platform will probably be on the right spectrum on the right side of the political spectrum, right? So maybe this is biased. I don't even know. I mean, I saw something similar to this, though, where you take the polls to Twitter, Trump was absolutely beating Kamala, and then you go to Polymarket, Kamala was beating Trump. You'd go to the media, Kamala was beating Trump, and then when the actual elections happened, you have Trump absolutely beating Kamala, right? I feel like this is going to be a similar scenario. I hope so. We do need a Conservative Party victory, in my opinion, for Canada. Why? Because this genius banker, Mark Carney from the Liberal Party, is going to destroy Canada's economy. His spending plan is 70% more debt than Trudeau's, and he's using an accounting trick to hide the damage. I don't even know if I should read all of this. I kind of do want to go through it because I want to inform myself anyway. Canada seems to be falling for the Liberals' new savior complex. They think Carney's a financial wizard because he ran the Bank of England before. But look closer at the numbers. It's Liberal spending on steroids. Trudeau's planned $131 billion in new debt. Carney's bumping that number to $225 billion from $131. So Carney will add $56 billion in deficit spending per year compared to Trudeau's $30 billion plus. The supposed responsible adult is spending way more than Trudeau ever did. He's using the classic shell game to hide it. The trick, Carney, splitting the budget into operating and capital parts. Like telling your bank, don't look at my mortgage, just check my daily spending. Any bank would laugh you out. Yet Canadians are buying this from a genius banker. Carney claims he'll balance the operating budget within 3 years. Sounds great until you see he's dumping all debt on the capital side. It's accounting smoke and mirrors to claim fiscal responsibility while racking up debt, similar to what triggered the 2008 financial crisis. That is dangerous. Remember American banks hiding toxic assets off their main balance sheets? Carney's doing the same with Canada's national debt. He's hiding red ink by relabeling it, not reducing it. And there's another page from Trudeau's playbook he hopes you'll forget. Carney claims his $225 billion in investments, quote unquote, will generate $500 billion in economic benefits. Sound familiar? For 10 years, Trudeau promised the same magical multiplier effect from government spending. Did your standard of living improve? Did those green jobs appear? No. Trudeau promised well-paying jobs to replace fossil fuel industry positions. He promised new tech would drive growth. He promised higher living standards. None happened. Yet Carney thinks you'll believe the same promises with a different face. If you don't know, Trudeau resigned. His economic plan contains nothing new. Public service grew 40% under Trudeau. Carney offers vague talk of his efficiencies. Defense gets $18 billion more. Healthcare just gets $5.4 billion over 5 years. This isn't a prosperity plan. For perspective, Carney's annual deficits exceed most provincial deficits combined. Who pays for this magical thinking? You do. Your kids do. Your grandkids do. This debt means higher taxes, more inflation, and fewer future services, all while pretending books are balanced because debt moved to a different column. Math doesn't work, no matter how clever the accounting. Man, this is a long read, isn't it? I hope you guys are not getting bored. I wish Canada would stop looking at party colors and start checking the numbers. Liberal, conservative, NDP, the name doesn't matter. What counts is whether leaders are honest about our money. I agree with that. This accounting trick is about as dishonest as it gets. The real tragedy, this isn't partisan politics, it's math. You can't spend endlessly, hide debt, and expect prosperity. No genius banker can change that reality. Will enough Canadians notice before Monday's election? There you go. Well, we'll see. May the best man win. And that's it. Bitcoin's still 93,666. Cool. And we might stay within this area for a while longer is what I think. Could see a red day tomorrow, in my opinion. Flat day for weekend. 29th of April. When is that? That is Tuesday next week. Okay. No, never mind. By then, we should continue bouncing upward, hopefully. Looking at 96,000 here, and then 100,000. As long as we do maintain this uptrend, which I hope is not too steep, should be fine nonetheless. If we do get any corrections, like I said, drawdown less than 88,000, I find that very hard to see if we want to continue this uptrend. So that'll be all for today. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Might be releasing new stuff tomorrow for books. That's all, really. Tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow's Friday. Nothing much will happen. I don't think nothing in the economic calendar. Yeah, literally nothing. Next week, though, what did I mention? PCE data, I think. GDP. Core PC price index, that could be important. We already know the percentages is like 90 to 10%. 90% chance of not getting a rate cut. What will matter, of course, is what Jerome Powell says after. I mentioned that a couple times now. Non-farm payrolls, that'll be important for next week, Friday, May 2nd. It'll be very crucial because it's very close to the FOMC meeting that will be happening on May 7. We're getting non-farm payroll data May 2nd. So pretty close, and it would just help us confirm or, decline the fact that we may or may not be receiving any rate cuts for the month of May. But like I said, this would also be contributing to whatever Jerome Powell speaks about after the decision has been made in terms of future projections. Cool. All right. Now